After seeing Lucian's score, all three of them were shocked, especially the arrogant little boy from before. He was so stunned he couldn't even stand properly and fell to the ground. Is this machine broken? The receptionist confirmed that there was no way the machine in this dojo was broken, as it was regularly maintained. In fact, it had just been serviced yesterday, so there was definitely no mistake. Sierra's face suddenly became tense. So Lucian's score is real. She immediately shouted, "Lin, do you have his address or phone number?" But unfortunately, Lucian wasn't a member, so he had no register information. He just came to the dojo regularly to test his abilities. The receptionist rushed off, guessing that Lucian must live nearby. Sierra ordered her to contact any available staff to gather information on all the students in the area to find Lucian's whereabouts as soon as possible. Sierra looked at the tablet screen again and muttered, "Lucian, I will find you." At that moment, Lucian was already in a taxi, heading to another location. Before getting out of the car, the driver showed his fondness for him. He gave a thumbs up and said, "Haha, I really enjoyed talking to you. If we have the chance to meet again, I'll definitely introduce you to my daughter." Lucian got out of the car and shook his head, thinking the man was too enthusiastic. If he had known, he would have just said he was going to the Martial Arts Association to take the Level 2 assessment. That way, the man would have thought he was crazy and not talk to him anymore. As he was about to open the door to a building, someone ran out, his voice on the verge of tears. "Impossible. My combat power at home was clearly over 150. How could this be?" The guy knelt in front of the building as if under a spell and clasped his hands together. The onlookers whispered among themselves that the equipment at the Martial Association was official and naturally more accurate than the machines outside. The guy was probably overhyped and couldn't accept the truth. Lucian was excited to hear that the machines here were more accurate. Finally, he had found a place where he could truly understand his own strength. Lucian walked into the lobby and approached the receptionist. "Hello, could you tell me where the martial artist assessment area is?" The receptionist didn't even glance at him, still engrossed in signing a stack of documents. She handed him a form and told him to fill out first, then go to room 5203 for the assessment. Lucian obediently did as he was told, but when he reached the designated room and opened the door, he was stunned by the scene before him. There must have been hundreds of people ahead of him. The line was insanely long. He thought he would be the only one here, but it turned out everyone was flocking to test themselves. Lucian sighed and walked inside. He didn't have time to waste, and this was taking up too much of it. He really didn't know what to do now. Dejected, he overheard two people talking about a beautiful girl who was also there. Lucian's eyes followed their gaze and saw a very young girl, but her abilities were probably not to be underestimated. Lucian observed the people around him. Most of them were around 15 years old. He was already considered young, but he didn't expect that girl to look even younger than him. The quiet atmosphere was suddenly broken by a huge, towering man who walked in, making everyone look up. "Excuse me, coming through." At that moment, it was a young man's turn for the assessment. He was confident he would get the best result to make his girlfriend proud. His girlfriend was cheering him on enthusiastically. But while the two were lost in their own world of joy, the man from before pushed them aside with just a finger, leaving them stunned. The young man turned to see a giant pushing him and was so shocked his eyes nearly popped out. And it wasn't just him. Everyone around them gasped at the man's muscular physique. The girlfriend, seeing this guy's arrogance, was extremely annoyed. She rushed forward to demand justice for her boyfriend. "Hey, who are you? Don't you know you have to wait in line?" The big guy looked at her with a bored expression and didn't bother to reply. Her boyfriend behind her couldn't stop her in time, knowing he couldn't fight the guy. It was better to just let it go. The girl couldn't take it anymore and yelled, "Don't think you can break the rules just because you're big." As she was heatedly scolding him, the staff member there calmly stated that this man could, because he had just seen his form. He was supposed to be the first to be tested because he was a level 3 martial artist. Hearing this, the woman immediately backed down, and her boyfriend was so scared he almost vomited blood. The level 3 martial artist assessment was extremely rare. In the entire city of Baihe, only a little over 10 people had reached this level. Lucian thought to himself that in the world of martial arts, the strong naturally had privileges. The big guy stepped up to the platform to begin his test. The girlfriend from before still felt indignant for her boyfriend and muttered about the other guy. Just a level 3 martial artist? What's the big deal? It's not like just participating makes you a level 3. What's there to be so proud of? But when the results came in, she was once again stunned. The man's blood essence value had reached a staggering 107. The staff member in charge was sweating profusely as he recorded the information, but due to his professional duty, he had to continue. Next is the second category. This second time was even more terrifying and intense than the first. With just one punch from him, everyone present was knocked to the ground. The scene below became chaotic. No matter what, Lucian stood firm, just as he had at the beginning. It was truly worth all his diligent training. The result of the Combat Power Index test was 10,831. The staff member congratulated Zivenfong. From now on, he was officially a level 3 martial artist in Baihe City, recognized by the Martial Arts Association. He would receive a monthly stipend of 30,000 yuan. After the announcement, he turned to look down and saw that everyone had fallen except for 2 people who were still standing. The beautiful girl from before couldn't help but praise the gentleman. From behind, Lucian suddenly spoke up. So this is the level of a level 3 martial artist. Hearing this, the girl was extremely surprised and thought to herself that this guy was too arrogant. He just managed to stay standing after someone else's punch. What was there to be so proud of? Lucian stepped forward and asked the nearby staff if it could be his turn next, since no one was in line anymore. Everyone was still reeling from the aftershock of that punch, which had greatly affected their health. Seeing how calm Lucian was, the staff member was intrigued and praised his composure. He smiled and said, "All right, next up, Lucian, begin the test." Lucian began the testing process by touching the glowing orb. The staff member behind him kindly reminded him not to be nervous and to just maintain a normal state. The screen displayed Lucian's blood essence value as 1.57. The staff member who had just been advising him now felt the chill run down his spine. Even the people below, especially the girl from before, had their eyes wide and mouths agape, as if their jaws were about to drop. This guy is only 17 to 18 years old. What the hell? Zivenfong, standing in a corner, also thought, a kid who's only 17 to 18 has already reached level 2 martial artist? Isn't that a bit too much? He's so young and already has such high blood essence. Next was the Combat Power Index test. The staff member advised him not to be affected by Zivenfang's earlier punch and to just punch as he pleased until he was satisfied. But unexpectedly, Lucian's reply left the staff member speechless. Thanks, but no need. One time is enough. With that, Lucian used all his power to deliver his fastest punch. The entire room suddenly turned purple before everyone's astonished eyes. After Lucian punched the strength testing machine, it shattered into pieces with a terrifying sound and a massive burst of power. It knocked out the level 1 martial artist on the spot. Countless screams rang out as the scene became more chaotic than ever. Zivenfong, who was observing the situation, had to frown at Lucian's terrifying strength. The girl who had previously dismissed him now had to struggle to withstand this power. At this moment, the notification board displayed the Combat Power Index. When the Martial Arts Association staff saw Lucian's number, their jaws dropped in astonishment. They stammered, 15,709. Seeing the score, Lucian thought to himself with satisfaction, "Phew. After breaking through the bottleneck in my fist technique, plus the stellar force and the natural breathing method, my combat power directly increased tenfold compared to the standard for my blood essence. So this is the charm of martial arts skills." The Martial Arts Association staff finally recovered from the shock. He stammered, Student Liu, congratulations on passing the level 1 martial artist test. No, wait. Your strength completely surpasses that of a level 2, maybe even a level 3. The more the staff member spoke, the more flustered he became, finally saying excitedly, "Sorry, I can't evaluate you right now, but rest assured, I will report this to the higher-ups of the association. The Martial Arts Association will not bury any talent. No, a genius, especially a genius like you. I'll go report and submit this. I swear on my entire career, I will give you a satisfactory answer. You can rest assured." Lucian, seeing the staff member rush off with the results sheet, was confused. Ha ha ha. Seeing the staff members retreating back, Lucian wondered, "So, can I go home now?" Suddenly, a large, intimidating figure stood right behind Lucian. He turned around cautiously and asked, "So, what can I do for you?" It was Zivan Fong. He had a grim expression as he extended his hand. Seeing this, Lucian was quite confused by his action. With a fierce expression, he introduced himself, Zivan Fong. Lucian, seeing his demeanor, said nothing and just looked at him with a provocative gaze. He extended his hand, ready to show his strength. Lucian, unexpectedly, after shaking Lucian's hand, the fierce-looking Zivan Fong broke into a cheerful smile. The crowd in the stands also rushed to shake hands and take pictures with Lucian. "Hello, Mr. Liu. I'm Wang Damong. Shake my hand." Mr. Liu, I'm Hu Zhongming. Can I bother you for a few minutes?" "Mr. Liu, look over here." "Mr. Liu, please wait." Seeing the excited crowd swarming around him, Lucian ran for his life. The crowd still wouldn't give up and chased after him. Damn it, that Zivan Fong guy got to him first. A level 3 martial artist's mind, sure, changes fast. They chased after Lucian, their shouts echoing. "Mr. Liu." Outside the Martial Arts Association, Hannah and her 2 friends were also waiting for their friend to finish the test. She asked worriedly, "Senior Yang isn't out yet? I wonder if it went well." Fong Fanfan confidently said, "Haha, don't worry. The level 1 martial artist certification is a piece of cake for a genius like her." Hannah agreed. That's true. Just then, she saw Lucian walking out of the Martial Arts Association building, which surprised her quite a bit. Hannah called out loudly. When Lucian turned, he saw Hannah and her friends standing nearby. He quickly walked over to them and asked, "Hannah, what are you doing here?" Hannah put her hands on her hips and raised an eyebrow. "I should be the one asking you that. You don't go to school, you just sleep at home all day. What are you doing at the association now?" Lucian thought to himself, "Forget not going to school. How does she even know I spend most of my time sleeping in my room?" Looking a bit embarrassed, Lucian covered his mouth and coughed. "Ahem, I came to take care of some important business. What about you guys? What are you doing at the Martial Arts Association?" Fong Fanfan smiled and said, "Hello, Mr. Liu. I'm Hannah's friend. My name is Fong Fanfan. Friends call me Fanfan. This is Zi Ruo. We came with Senior Yang Yin today to take the test." Lucian's good looks attracted Fong Fanfan, who couldn't help but praise him. "Mr. Liu is so handsome, not at all like Hannah usually says." Seeing Fong Fanfan siding with her brother, Hannah angrily turned and shouted, "Hey, you too." Lucian, pleased with the compliment, smiled brightly. "Ha ha, thank you." Hannah, standing beside them, threatened, "You guys are really something. Have you forgotten who helps you with every little thing at school?" Fong Fanfan quickly apologized. "Of course it's you, our dear mother." Seeing Hannah arguing with her friends, Lucian reached out and patted her head. "Well then, I'll be heading home first. Goodbye." Hannah's friend also said goodbye to Lucian. "Goodbye, Mr. Liu." After Lucian was far away, Fong Fanfan turned to tease her. "You 2 siblings have a pretty good relationship." Hannah, seeing her best friend defend her brother, fumed. "Not at all. You 2 traitors, are you blind?" Just then, Zi Ruo shouted, "Ah, Senior Yang Yin is out." The group of friends stopped arguing and ran towards Yang Yin, asking with concern, "Senior Yang, Senior, how did it go? Did you pass?" Yang Yin sighed in frustration. "Don't mention it. There was an incident, so all the tests had to be stopped. We'll probably have to wait until this afternoon." Worry appeared on everyone's faces. Fong Fanfan quickly asked, What kind of incident could cause the tests to be stopped?" Yang Yin remembered the young man from earlier. His strength and abilities were truly terrifying. A monster, no, a prodigy. That male student is clearly the same age as me, but his blood essence value is 15.7. His combat power even surpasses that of a level 3 martial artist, reaching over 1,500,000. Haha, I used to think my own talent wasn't bad, but after meeting that guy, I realized my little talent is a joke. The group was shocked when they heard Yang Yan's story. Feng Fanfan quickly asked, Senior Yang, right, Senior, what's his name? Do you know? Yang Yan thought for a moment, then frowned and said, Ah, his name is Lucian. Hearing the name Lucian, Hannah and her friends froze. She couldn't believe it. She remembered her brother's lazy and carefree demeanor and silently asked herself, My brother? At that moment, Lucian was on his way home, munching on a hot steam bun. Suddenly, he saw a group of men in black searching for something around the city, causing a commotion. Have you checked over there? Going now. A few old ladies on their way back from the market saw this and gathered to gossip. Who is it? Causing such a big fuss. I heard the Crimson River Dojo is looking for someone. Who on earth provoked the Crimson River Dojo? What bad luck. Those martial artists are very fierce. If they're found, they'll probably have their legs broken. Lucian, eating his bun, thought to himself, the Crimson River Dojo. Seems like they're looking for the person from the last test. Are they that fierce? Forget it. It has nothing to do with me anyway. Just then, his phone rang incessantly. The ringtone blared. He won't answer your calls. What's the use of hitting him? The caller was Mako, the employee from the Xing Shantang counter. Lucian thought, Xing Shantang is calling again. I need to be a little distant with them. After all, every single one of these future pharmaceutical products can easily be exchanged for a great fortune, but whether they are qualified for it needs to be investigated first. Back home, he went into his room and decided to open the future AI to check. Lucian activated the device. A blue light appeared. Quantum Brain, activate. Lucian commanded the AI, investigate my life history again. The AI quickly displayed a basic information panel about Lucian. Yes, I will check for you, sir. Basic information, name, Lucian, gender, male, lifespan, June 297 Martial Dao, July 383 Martial Dao strength, level 6 martial artist, usable authority, level 2, life experience. At 18, became a level 2 martial artist, shocking Baihe City. Subsequently, under the recommendation of the Baihe City Martial Arts Association, participated in the Dongning Province Genius Training Camp, ranked in the top 20. In the same year, ranked first in the entire city, 32nd in the entire province. College entrance exam results ranked 145th nationwide, entered Dongning Martial University. 3 years later, graduated from Dongning Martial University. 5 years later, transferred to the rank of captain, established the Baihe City Martial Arts Dojo. At 45, promoted to level 6 martial artist. At 50, failed to break through to the 7th level Grandmaster. July 338 Martial Dao, died in the beast attack on Baihe City at the age of 87. Marital status, married, 2 daughters, 1 son. Highest rank, captain, no outstanding contributions. Historical evaluation, 2 stars. After reading the summary of his life, Lucian was quite surprised. This is my future? He silently summarized it. At 18, I become a level 2 martial artist, shocking Baihe City. Then, under the recommendation of the Baihe City Martial Arts Association, I participate in the Dongning Province Genius Training Camp and rank in the top 20. 3 years later, I graduate from Dongning Martial University and serve in the military. 5 years after that, I'm transferred to the rank of captain and establish the Baihe City Martial Arts Hall. At 45, I'm promoted to a level 6 martial artist. At 50, I fail to break through to the 7th level Grandmaster. In July of the 338th year of the Martial Dao, I die in a beast attack on Baihe City at the age of 87. After briefly going over his life, he silently concluded, So it's true, the future can be changed. At least my future can be changed. A week ago, I was a level 4 martial artist who lived to be 37. Now I'm a level 6 martial artist who lives to be over 80. I even have a chance to reach the 7th level Grandmaster realm, but that's still a long way off. This small change means nothing to the world or the future. To change the fate of the human race and alter the course of the world's future in the next 10,000 years requires immense power. A quasi-grandmaster at level 6 is insignificant. Even a level 7 grandmaster, a level 8 grandmaster, or even a level 9 martial saint is very powerful in the future. If I want to shake up fate like this, change the outcome like this, I can only climb to the peak of the martial path, break through to level 10, or even level 11, to have a glimmer of hope. Although the hope is very small, I have chosen to walk this path, and I will not turn back. In the office of the president of the Baiha Martial Arts Association, Xiao Yuhe was engrossed in practicing calligraphy. In front of him was a screen with a call from an old leader. The leader's voice came through. Stillness brings forth brilliance. Movement makes the hair fly. Qi rises, form follows. Intention moves, spirit is firm. Spirit turns, qi follows. Form follows, qi rises. Beautiful characters. One can see that President Zhao's spiritual power is profound. Entering the 7th rank Grandmaster realm is probably just a matter of time. If President Xiao could put such effort into his teaching work, it would be even better. The old leader's criticism caused President Xiao to slip and smudge a brushstroke. He chuckled softly and said, "Haha, old leader, don't make fun of me. It's not that I don't want more martial arts geniuses to appear in our Baiha. But you know, Baiha hasn't had any inherited martial arts families for many years. We also don't have enough resources to provide. Any seedling with a bit of talent will find a way to leave. I'm truly helpless." The old leader's tone suddenly became serious. He was silent for a moment, then spoke. "President Xiao, it's almost time for the training camp to open. We haven't sent anyone to participate for many years. A big city like Baiha can't just have no achievements. Not being able to send anyone is the greatest shame. This time, no matter what, you must save face for our Baiha, understand?" The old leader gave his cold command and then immediately hung up, not giving President Xiao a chance to say anything more. Subscribe to Lala School's channel to not miss any exciting videos. After the conversation ended, Xiao Yuhe angrily crumpled the paper in his hand and shouted, "Damn it! It's not that I don't want to develop talent and make progress." He sat down at his desk, gritting his teeth and clenching his trembling fists in anger as he thought, "If I could be in a higher position, with those resources, who would sit here writing these useless characters? Promotion is hopeless." In the midst of his disappointment, his secretary suddenly burst in. She rushed in, calling out, "President, something has happened at the Martial Artist Testing Center." President Xiao frowned and snapped, "Why are you in such a hurry? Don't you even know how to knock? What is it?" The secretary hurried over with a stack of documents and handed President Xiao a survey form. "I'm sorry, this is really urgent. The examiner just brought some very important news. He's appeared. A level 2 martial artist, 18 years old, with a combat power of over 10,000, has appeared." President Zhao's eyes widened in astonishment. He quickly snatched the tablet from the secretary's hand and shouted, "Quick, show me the video." The secretary, slightly startled by his reaction, hurriedly said, "Ah, yes." President Xiao stared intently at the surveillance video. The video showed Lucian taking the martial artist certification test. After careful confirmation, he exclaimed in shock, "This is perfect fist technique." The secretary standing next to him, not understanding, quickly asked what he meant. President Xiao, while intently watching Lucian's movements, impatiently explained, "This is a term in our martial arts world. You're not a martial artist, you just need to know one thing. There are no more than 10 people in the world who have mastered fist techniques to such a perfect level." Suddenly, President Xiao seemed to realize something. He thought to himself, "No, Even with perfect fist technique, it's impossible to reach a blood essence value of 15.7 and a combat power of 15,000. Even perfect fist technique can at most double the combat power. At 18 years old, a blood essence value 10 times the standard combat power from an ordinary family. Seemingly understanding something, President Zhao's face lit up with joy. It must be so, it must be so. Otherwise, it's completely inexplicable. Ha ha ha. The secretary standing beside him, seeing him muttering to himself and then bursting into laughter, was quite confused and quickly called out, "President." Suddenly, the secretary was lifted off her feet. President Zhao joyfully picked her up and spun her around a few times. He laughed heartily. "Ha ha, little one. This is a rare martial arts genius, and one has appeared in our Baiha city." Ha ha ha. The secretary, dizzy for being spun around, cried out in confusion, "President, what's a martial arts genius?" President Zhao, finally finding a talent after so many years, was so happy he couldn't stop smiling. Among those who practice the martial Tao, there's a type of talent favored by the heavens. They awaken to a power that surpasses the imagination of ordinary people. After awakening, their blood essence will increase dramatically. They possess a unique talent and have an astonishing explosive power. Sometimes their speed is as fast as lightning. They are called gifted martial artists. President Zhao quickly put on his coat and hurried to leave. "Ha ha! Hurry up! I want to personally make a trip to Lucian's house, to visit his parents and thank them for giving birth to such a great son." Ha ha! The secretary, still dizzy, hurried after him. At the Crimson River Dojo, Miss Sierra was also mobilizing her staff to find Lucian. Just then, a junior disciple rushed over, shouting, "Found him! Found him! Senior Sister Sierra." Sierra quickly asked, "What is it?" The junior disciple, panting, replied, His name is Lucian, a student at Baiha Academy. His father is a delivery man at Xinxing Logistics. His mother is a cashier at Jeje's supermarket. He also has a younger sister in her first year. The family lives in Bailan Community, Building 15. Sierra spoke seriously and prepared to leave. All right. Seeing that Sierra was about to go find him, the junior disciple was alarmed. "Why are you looking for him? Did he offend you?" "Let me tell you, senior sister, he's just a poor kid from an ordinary family. There's no need to do this." Sierra, seeing that her junior disciple had misunderstood, got angry. "Shut up. It's not what you think." Just then, Sierra turned to answer a phone call. She seemed quite tense. "Hello. I know. It will be very soon. I didn't expect them to move so fast." The junior disciple stood aside, thinking, "Not what I think. What is it then? A marriage proposal?" Watch the next episode. After finishing the phone call, Sierra turned back and quickly gave an order. "Right now, you go and buy some valuable gifts suitable for parents, elders, and a young girl." The junior disciple was stunned for a few seconds, then quickly ran off. "Huh? Yes. As he ran, he thought to himself, "Is it really a marriage proposal?" Sierra clenched the phone in her hand and thought, "I've finally found you, Lucian." At that moment, Lucian was training in his room when his younger sister, Hannah, urgently called him, Lucian, come out quickly. Someone is here to see you." Lucian stood up and slowly said, "I know, I'm coming." Lucian threw on a shirt and walked out. It had been a long time since he'd heard Hannah call him brother. "Someone's looking for me. Could it be?" As soon as he stepped out of his room, he saw his whole family talking with a few strangers. Seeing Lucian come out, his mother gestured for him to come over. "Lucian, come here. This is..." Before his mother could finish, the man stood up and introduced himself. "Student Lucian, hello." President Zhao stood up and politely extended his hand. "I'm the president of the Baiha Martial Arts Association, Xiao Yuha. I came here specifically because of your test." Lucian thought to himself, the president of the Martial Arts Association, at least a quasi-grandmaster at level 6. Lucian also extended his hand in greeting. "Hello, President Zhao. I am Lucian." Seeing Lucian's calm demeanor, he praised him highly. "Not bad, very calm. This kind of composure is rare. Lucian pointed to the girl sitting next to him and asked, "And this is?" Lucian's mother introduced her. "This is Miss Sierra from the Crimson River Dojo." Sierra then introduced herself. "Hello, student Lucian. We've met at the dojo before. I don't know if you remember." Lucian nodded in greeting. "Yes, hello, Miss Sierra." After they all sat down, Lucian got straight to the point. He asked President Xiao, "But there's no such thing as a free lunch. The association has given us so much. I should give something in return. I wonder what President Xiao needs us to do." President Xiao was quite surprised by Lucian's directness. Then he sighed. "You really opened my eyes." He took a card from his jacket and said, "Then I'll be direct. We hope you can participate in the Dongning Province Genius Training Camp." Sierra suddenly stood up in surprise. "President Xiao, you mean the Genius Training Camp?" She said helplessly, "It's true that it's a training camp that gathers the most talented martial arts geniuses, but it's also a place that destroys geniuses. Our dojo once had a senior brother who participated in this training camp. He was full of enthusiasm when he left, but after he came back, he was completely broken, fading into obscurity." Sierra quickly tried to stop him. "Student Lucian, your future is bright. There's no need to take such a risk." President Xiao quickly advised, "That's right, it is risky. It's just a place to select true prodigies, the top geniuses of the entire city. You might just end up as a stepping stone for others, but you're different. From the strength and potential you've shown, your future is definitely not limited to this." "But student Lucian, I respect your choice. What is your answer?" Lucian thought for a moment in silence, then reached out and took the card. "You're right," he thought. "President Xiao, I also believe this is not my limit." President Xiao let out a sigh of relief and said, "All right, I'll come pick you up in 2 days. I won't disturb you any longer." President Xiao stood up to leave. "We'll see each other in 2 days, student Lucian." After President Xiao left, Lucian turned to ask Sierra, "So, Miss Sierra, now you should tell me why you're here." Sierra turned to look at Lucian's handsome face and blushed. She thought to herself, "He's even more handsome in person than in the pictures." Sierra cleared her throat, covering her mouth with her hand. "Ahem. I came here this time to invite you, student Lucian, to be an honorary disciple of our Crimson River Dojo." "Lucian?" Lucian asked thoughtfully, "What does honorary disciple mean?" Sierra quickly explained, "It means you don't have to come like a regular disciple. Of course, you can come whenever you want. All classes and equipment are free. You can even have my father personally teach you and receive the highest level of instruction. It's really just a title without any obligations." Sierra calculated in her head, "If we publicize the fact that we have an 18-year-old level 2 or even level 3 martial artist, our dojo will become famous in Bias City, right? I can't even imagine how many parents will be fighting to enroll their children here." At that moment, Lucian shattered Sierra's beautiful dream with a blunt refusal. "No." Sierra quickly stood up and added, "The benefits are negotiable. Don't be so quick to refuse me." Lucian said, "Honorary member is fine. You can publicize that I train at your dojo. That's true. Nothing else. I am not your disciple, not even in name, because I don't need to be. If you can accept that, then fine. If not, I'm sorry. Of course, I'll still come to your place for tests in the future. After all, it's quite close to my home." Sierra thought for a moment and then compromised. All right. But this honorary title is bought out by our Crimson River Dojo. I'll send you your monthly salary right away. I'll have it delivered directly to your house, about 100,000. After the discussion was over, Sierra also stood up to leave. "I won't disturb you any longer. Goodbye." The sound of the door closing echoed, slam. Seeing that Sierra was gone, the whole family looked at Lucian with proud eyes. "Lucian, this isn't a dream, is it? A 1 million yuan bonus and a 100,000 monthly salary." Lucian's father couldn't believe his eyes either. He asked again, "Was that really the president of the Martial Arts Association? And he came all the way to our door to visit? When did Lucian become a level 2 martial artist? What on earth is going on?" Lucian quickly took his mother's hand and said gently, "It's all true. I've really become a level 2 martial artist. Mom, from now on, you don't have to work the night shift anymore. Staying up late at your age is very dangerous for your health. Dad, you don't have to do heavy labor anymore. How much longer can your back take it? I can earn money now. You don't have to work so hard anymore." The whole family happily hugged Lucian. It was such a warm and happy scene. At Xing Shantang, Hazel Hop bit her finger in frustration. It's been a week, and I don't even know his name, let alone his face. She ran her hands through her hair, flipping through book after book. The desk was overflowing with them, making her feel helpless. I've looked through all the recently registered pharmacist files, and I can't find him at all. Where did this genius pharmacist come from? Why can't I find any information about him? Hazel Ha gritted her teeth, remembering the potion Lucian had made. The more I analyze the data on the supplement he concocted, the more amazed I am. It's not just several times stronger than a level 1 supplement. According to the standards of the Pharmacist Association, it even surpasses most level 3 supplements. The various additional effects are in the dozens, with almost no side effects. The duration of the drug's effectiveness is frighteningly long, and its cost is still less than 3,000 yuan. The price of a level 3 pharmaceutical can reach 100,000. This is a great new drug that opens up a new era. Hazel Ha slammed her fist on the table and shouted in frustration, "Damn it! Where on earth is this guy? Did he just vanish into thin air?" Mako, standing beside her, trembled in fear. Suddenly, Mako's jaw dropped in astonishment. Miss Ha, I found that master." Hazel Ha shot up and asked, "What? Where's he?" Mako quickly pointed at the TV. He stammered, It's him." On the news was a young man, only 18 years old this year. Yesterday, our city saw the emergence of an extremely outstanding martial arts genius. At just 18 years old, he passed the official level 2 martial artist test, and his combat power index even surpassed the standard for a level 3 martial artist. This achievement has far surpassed and broken the record for his age group in our city's martial arts association. Let's all congratulate and applaud this genius, student Lucian from Baihe Academy. After seeing Lucian, Hazel Ha was so stunned she almost fell over. She stammered for a long time before managing to say, "He's just a student." At Shuhai City, Guhu Mountain, a high mountain with dense surrounding foliage was shrouded in white mist. The scenery on the mountain was also very poetic, with a peaceful, clear stream. Suddenly, a small white bird perched on a branch seemed to sense impending danger. It quickly flapped its wings and flew away. Suddenly, a flash of light appeared, moving many times faster than the bird. If you looked closely, you could see a human figure running. That person was Lucian, running like the wind. He shot forward like an arrow, freely displaying his martial arts skills, quickly passing through the dense forest to the mountain peak. As he ran, Lucian thought to himself, "I never knew stellar force could be used for movement techniques." With a 4-fold increase in stellar force, plus the absorption from the dreamscape, my movement technique has reached a new level. My speed is now 5 times faster than a normal level 2 martial artist. I'll call it the cloud-chasing step. Lucian stood on a mountain peak, looking out at the distance. The surroundings were covered in mist, with colorful sunlight shining down. The air was fresh and filled with abundant energy. Lucian took a deep breath, feeling every sense in his body. He unleashed a punch with all his might. The force of Lucian's internal energy caused the surroundings to tremble. The clouds of mist were blown away, revealing the magnificent natural scenery below. Lucian sighed in satisfaction. "Phew, I've broken through. My blood essence value has clearly increased, and my stellar force has also improved. I can probably unleash a 6-fold force now." Lucian quickly picked a few herbs. He thought to himself, "This is truly a surprise. I originally came to Guhu Mountain to gather materials for the marrow-nourishing pill. I didn't expect to have a major breakthrough in my cultivation. The Spirit Foundation blood strengthening decoction is all gone. The effect of the medicine is getting weaker, So I need to start refining the marrow-nourishing pill. The value and use of this medicine haven't been discovered in this era yet. If the system hadn't told me, I would never have been able to find this. The other medicinal ingredients have probably already been ordered at the foot of the mountain. It should be ready by now. Just in time, I can test how fast I can get down. Cloud chasing step. Lucian immediately used his technique and ran down the mountain at an incredible speed. As soon as he reached the foot of the mountain, Lucian saw the herb gatherer already sitting there. Lucian hurried over to greet him. "Hello, I'm the one who just ordered the medicinal herbs. May I ask if they are ready?" The herb merchant, holding a pipe, smiled and said, "Young man, you're here. Haha, don't worry. They're all ready. They're all here." Lucian checked the herbs. Yang yin grass, Luciu leaves, yes, they're all here. The herbs are very fresh, and the age is just right. Lucian stood up and took out some money. "All right, I need 10 of each herb, 500 yuan per plant as we agreed. Here's 5,000 yuan. The herb merchant said, "Hey, not so fast." He gave Lucian a wicked smile and said, "It's not 500 per plant, it's 1,000. And you have to buy all the herbs here." Then he pointed to the baskets of herbs around them and threatened him. Seeing that the old herb merchant intended to rob him in broad daylight, Lucian asked with a cold expression, "What do you mean by that?" The old herb merchant gave a sinister smile and said bluntly, "Exactly what it sounds like, little friend. You're not a local of Shuhai, are you? When you come to our turf, you have to follow our rules." At this moment, about 10 thugs emerged from their hiding places. They brandished the knives in their hands, their faces fierce as they approached. Didn't your parents ever teach you? When you're out and about, you should be scared when you need to be. That's what you need to remember. Lucian's expression became more serious. He sneered and then began to unleash his power. "So, you're planning to force a sale." The leader happily approached, not yet realizing the impending danger. They swaggered forward. I advise you not to try any tricks. My brothers here are all proper level 1 martial artists. If you call the police, there are no cameras here. The police will come and won't believe an outsider like you anyway. So if you don't behave, don't blame us for making you suffer a little." The leader gave a signal, and the whole gang rushed forward, but they stopped abruptly in their tracks, their faces pale with fear and trembling. With just one punch to a large boulder, Lucian caused numerous cracks to appear on it. The robbers who had initially intended to extort him were now drenched in a cold sweat after witnessing Lucian's strength. After retracting his hand, he asked the robbers again, "So, may I ask you all, is this a situation where I should be scared?" Then he crushed a boulder as if it were a piece of tofu, silencing them with fear. It took them a moment to come to their senses before they all knelt on the ground and cowed out. Sorry. Sir, no, my lord. Sir, no, my lord. We were blind. We're truly sorry." Lucian bent down to pick up the basket of herbs and asked, "Not continuing? They'll be taking my things and leaving." Seeing that Lucian didn't intend to harm them, they quickly changed their tune. "Yes, my lord, take it all. You don't need to leave a single coin." Lucian carried the basket of herbs back and said, "I also see that your parents taught you something. When doing business, you should be honest and not deceive people." Seeing Lucian's words, they wagged their tails obediently, raised their hands in gratitude, and said, "Thank you for your guidance, my lord. We will definitely change our ways and become new men." Seeing their sincere expressions, Lucian thought to himself, "I was originally going to pay. They're the ones who didn't want it. This time, all the materials are ready. Time to head to the training camp." The leader, seeing that Lucian was gone, was so scared his eyes widened. What kind of world is this? Are all students this monstrous now? Seriously, I should find a new job. Crushing rocks into powder with his bare hands. At least a level 3 martial artist. Isn't that a bit hard to believe? A day later, Lucian appeared at the Dongning Province Genius Training Camp. Seeing the soldiers checking documents, he thought to himself, "So this is the training camp? It looks like a military base." Lucian, seeing the students around him all wearing medals, felt a little out of place. A martial artist medal. Is it a rule here that you have to wear a medal? My medal. Mom put away. I forgot to bring it with me when I left. Is it important? He helplessly remembered the medal his mother had kept in a glass case. At this moment, an officer walked over and asked, "Which city are you from? Why are you alone?" Lucian replied, "By his city. I was held up by something, so I'm a little late." A group of young men, hearing "by his city," began to whisper among themselves. By his city? Didn't they already enter yesterday? Why is there one left? Probably the last one in. Doesn't even have a medal. Strange, by his city hasn't had anyone come for so many years. This year there are two. An officer, after checking the list, said, "One person arrived. Are you the Lucian that the president of the Baiha Martial Arts Association mentioned?" The eavesdroppers nearby sneered. No wonder. So he's the one the president of the Baiha Association specially mentioned. Impressive. Having a connection with the president of the Martial Arts Association is even more impressive than being a level 3 martial artist. I wonder how many gifts were given behind scenes. Seeing the young men getting more and more out of line, the officer pointed at them and shouted, "All of you, quiet down." After shouting at the gossiping crowd, the officer gestured for him to enter. "You, go in with the people from Qingyuan City. After you enter, there will be an entrance ceremony. All luggage must be placed on the ground. Someone will come to help you collect it later." Lucian quickly agreed. All right. As he entered the barracks, Lucian thought, the entrance ceremony requires us to enter in groups? It seems this is no ordinary ceremony. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Suddenly the door slammed shut, leaving everyone quite shocked and panicked. What the hell? What's going on? What are they trying to do? Lock us in? Is this a mistake? The crowd was in an uproar. The officers spoke up to quell the noise. All right, quiet down and listen carefully. Your mission is to make your way to the exit opposite this corridor. If you succeed, you will have passed the entrance test. If you fail, you will be sent back immediately. So good luck. After speaking, the officer left, leaving them to shout in his wake. What? Didn't you say it was an entrance ceremony? Why is there a test? Corridor? What corridor? Hey, be more specific. Before the group could recover from their shock, they fell into a secret passage. What the hell? What is this? Lucian, having anticipated this, landed safely. But some were not so lucky, landing on their butts, or worse, on their faces. His chin slammed hard onto the ground after the free fall. He clutched his chin and shouted in anger, "Ouch! Where's this place? It hurts like hell. What kind of ancient trap is this?" Lucian looked towards the end of the base, using his divine sense to scan the area for traps. He wondered if there were any traps, and the result didn't surprise him much. As expected, it's not a normal corridor. Were these dark figures? The effect of spiritual power is truly magical, almost like a superpower from a novel. While observing the situation in the corridor, Lucian saw Lin Xiaoyu confidently say, I thought it was some special trick. Is this all there is? How boring." At this moment, the man who had landed on his chin angrily criticized him. "Lin Xiaoyu, you already knew there was a problem with this entrance ceremony. Damn it, you didn't even give us a heads up, which caused me to fall just now." Lin Xiaoyu, with a smug expression, mocked him. "You can't even handle a little surprise, and you have the nerve to call yourself an official martial artist? When you go out, don't say you're a genius from Qingyuan City who participated in the training camp. It's embarrassing." The man who was mocked was equally furious. He was about to charge at Lin Xiaoyu, but was held back by the people around him. "Lin Xiaoyu, damn it." The others also told him, all right, stop fighting. They also said to each other, "We're all from the same city. It wasn't easy to get into the training camp. We should probably stick together. The most important thing now is to quickly figure out how to pass this test." Lin Xiaoyu then offered his opinion. That's right. Our Qingyuan City should probably stick together. It's not good for anyone to suffer a loss. This famous genius training camp's entrance test is definitely not that simple. Right now, there happens to be an extra person here. I wonder if this kind-hearted person would be willing to go in and scout the path for us. Lin Xiaoyu then directed his attention to Lucian, wanting him to go in and risk his life. A kind-hearted girl spoke up, "That's not right." Others quite liked Lin Xiaoyu's idea. "Ah, good idea. A guinea pig testing the trap is very interesting." "Ha ha ha." Lucian just snorted and said nothing. Lin Xiaoyu, seeing his silence, sneered, "If you're not planning to go, then get out of the way." Lucian quickly pushed his hand away and prepared to step in. Lin Xiaoyu, seeing him take the initiative, sneered, "Oh, you're quite proactive, aren't you? Kid from Bias City, put on a good show. If you perform well, we might consider giving you a hand." Lucian stepped into the tunnel, then turned back and gave a dark smile. "Aha, beasts walk alone, cattle flock together." Seeing Lucian insult him, Lin Xiaoyu froze, stunned. He asked again, "What did you say?" Lucian turned back to look at Lin Xiaoyu with a provocative gaze, then gave a mocking smile. "Huh." Lin Xiaoyu, provoked like this, was furious. He pointed a finger at Lucian and said, "You brat, you dare call me cattle? I'll castrate you." Before he could finish his threat, the tunnel's mechanism was activated. Dozens of pink spheres rushed out at once. Lucian remained quite calm in the face of it, but Lin Xiaoyu backed away in fear and shouted, "What is that?" From those pink, iron spheres, after they touched the ground, they automatically transformed into dozens of robots with power far exceeding that of a group of level 1 martial artists. They were robot puppets. Seeing the robots clearly made Lin Xiaoyu panic. These mechanical puppets, the weakest of them, are stronger than an official level 1 martial artist. With so many of them, do the people at the training camp want us dead? The people in the group also cried out, "This place is so narrow, we can't even run. What do we do?" I heard these puppets can manipulate various advanced martial arts sequences. The most advanced ones are equivalent to a level 4 martial artist, but the cost is much higher than training a level 4 martial artist. This is the first time I've seen something like this. Lin Xiaoyu looked at Lucian and sneered. This country bumpkin from Bias City is an idiot. These mechanical puppets have a limited activation range. Once they sense a living being nearby, they will automatically attack. A level 1 mechanical puppet is made of a special alloy. A hard punch would kill him. The people standing outside, seeing Lucian face the robot head-on, were also excited to watch the show. That kid isn't even a level 1 martial artist. One punch will probably turn him into a real idiot. A kind-hearted girl, seeing the robot getting closer, shouted a warning, "Be careful." The robot, sensing a human, threw a powerful punch with the force of 1,000 pounds, aiming to crush Lucian. But Lucian, standing before the robot's fist, remained still and just smirked. The punch slammed down on Lucian, kicking up a cloud of dust. The surroundings became chaotic. Everyone shielded their faces from the powerful impact. Lin Xiaoyu, seeing the power of the punch, smiled smugly, certain that Lucian was now crushed like an ant. But no, after the dust settled, everyone stared in shock at Lucian. He had blocked the robot's punch with just one hand, leaving everyone stunned and amazed. They gritted their teeth, their faces dark with anger, and said, "He blocked it." Not only did Lucian block the punch, but he even increased his grip, squeezing the robot's fist and saying confidently, "Is that all?" Then with one hand, Lucian lifted the robot into the air and slammed it hard onto the ground. The robot was completely destroyed, its body shattered, and its parts and pieces scattered everywhere. After witnessing Lucian's strength, the group from the other province didn't dare to mock him anymore. They silently assessed him. "Damn, is he even human? What do we do now? He seems very strong." Suddenly, the idiot Lin Xiaoyu laughed out loud, scratching his head and saying, "I was almost fooled by this guy. What level 1 mechanical puppet? It's just a pile of scrap metal. Its actual combat power is probably about the same as a wooden dummy, just with a slightly intimidating appearance. Otherwise, with so many robot puppets here, how can anyone pass the test? And with that little strength, that trash who got in through connections, who isn't even a level 1 martial artist, how could he withstand the attack of a mechanical puppet?" At this moment, in everyone's eyes, Lin Xiaoyu was an optimistic fool who could still come up with so many scenarios. Someone spoke up. No, this puppet looks. Lin Xiaoyu, seeing that the group didn't believe him, sneered. Forget it. Explaining to you idiots is a waste of breath. If you don't understand, then open your eyes and watch how I pass this. Full of confidence, Lin Xiaoyu took a running start and jumped high, kicking hard at the switch on the robot's body. Hiya! Seeing Lin Xiaoyu's swift movements, everyone cheered. Oh. This puppet is a fake. Lin Xiaoyu stood before the puppet he thought he had defeated, spread his arms wide, and said confidently, Haha, I was right, wasn't I? These things. Before he could finish his sentence, the robot behind him swung its fist. Lin Xiaoyu, still gloating, was sent flying by a single punch. These things. As a result, Lin Xiaoyu was sent flying and slammed into the wall, creating numerous cracks. His face was bruised, and he had lost a few teeth, yet he still managed to say a few words. What? This isn't a level 1 mechanical puppet at all. It's a level 2. Damn it. After he finished speaking, his eyes rolled back, and he fainted. Someone from the group rushed over. Lin Xiaoyu. Hey, wake up. Are you okay? Lin Xiaoyu was now unconscious, his handsome face swollen and bruised. He was carried to a corner by the others. Some were worried and sweating profusely. A level 2 mechanical puppet. Just how strong is he? At this time, Lucian was still casually and calmly dealing with all the robot puppets. As he fought, he sighed. Sigh. Each mechanical puppet has a central core. A light touch can defeat it, but there are too many. It's so boring. After a while, Lucian had finally cleared out all the robot puppets in the tunnel. In front of him was the final door. The officer controlling the robots looked at the notification on his control panel, and his jaw dropped. What? What's going on? All the mechanical puppets have malfunctioned. Aren't they all new? The notifications kept coming. Number 99 has lost response. The officer, holding the control panel, was in a panic. They're all broken. A bunch of rookies who just reached level 1 can destroy a level 2 mechanical puppet. The officer was panicking when suddenly a shattered robot was thrown in front of him. Lucian said softly, The second gate is open. I've finally arrived. The officer looked at the control panel and received a notification that all connections were lost. Then he heard Lucian say, Come on, gatekeeper. This left the officer quite confused. He thought to himself, When did I become the second gatekeeper? With a sharp gaze, Lucian was ready to go all out. He now looked like a demon come to claim his soul, coldly saying, I hope you don't disappoint me. Lucian unleashed his full power, the cloud-chasing step, with a tenfold increase in stellar force. The power he unleashed even surpassed that of the officer. Faced with such absolute strength, the officer could only surrender, letting out a piercing scream. In the main monitoring room, notifications kept popping up. Contestants disqualified. Number 8 disqualified. Congratulations on watching this extra video. Colonel Dong Qingxue was intently watching the camera feeds, her fingers flying across the keyboard. Clack, clack. The sounds of machinery around her also echoed continuously. Beep, beep. Major Tan Xiaojun walked in leisurely with a cup of coffee, humming a song. What a happy day. Tan Xiaojun looked up and saw Dong Qingxue intently watching the surveillance cameras. He greeted her. Oh, you're here, Qingxue? Dong Qingxue turned around, frowned, and reminded him, Don't call me that, Major Tan Xiaojun. If you're free, come over here and help me read these documents. Tan Xiaojun cheerfully walked over and sat down. All right, Dong Qingxue. So what's the quality of the geniuses in this training camp batch? Dong Qingxue held her head and sighed. Not great. Only 8 seedlings are considered up to our standards. All of them are official martial artists who have awakened their talents. Among them, 5 are quite ordinary, all strength-type talents. There are also 3 others, a speed type and a defense type. Tan Xiaojun immediately asked, and a spirit type? Dong Qingxue also had a high evaluation of her. This spirit type is the most outstanding. Xiaolin, 18 years old, awakened her spiritual power talent less than 2 years ago. Currently, she's approaching the standard of a level 1 spirit master. Her martial arts talent is also not bad. She's about to enter level 2. Tan Xiaojun immediately boasted, "Isn't that pretty good? An absolute genius, just like you back in the day." As he was boasting, he saw Dong Qingshue's cold gaze and wisely shut up. "I shouldn't say any more. Her gaze is starting to get cold." Ha ha ha. Dong Qingxue frowned and warned, "Don't mess around. I've already listed her as a key training target for this training camp." Tan Xiaojun quickly suppressed a smile and changed the subject. The others aren't bad either. He was switching scenes on the monitoring screen with his hand. Suddenly, an unexpected scene made him frown. "Hey!" After getting a clear look, he spat out all the coffee he was drinking. Panic was evident on his face. "What the F? What is this?" Dong Qingxue, seeing the situation, also became serious and observed. At the same time, in testing ground number 7, a robot appeared right behind Xiaolin. It wanted to sneak attack her while she wasn't paying attention. Xiaolin quickly used her spiritual power to fight the robot, sending it flying and crashing into the wall, creating a large crack. After dealing with the robot, she let out a sigh of relief. "Phew, that was the last one, right?" Seeing the robot corpses lying around and a thick iron door, she didn't rush in. Xiaolin used her spiritual power to observe the surroundings, thinking to herself, "There's a very dangerous feeling over there. The strength is at least level 3, but it's not coming out to stop me, which means it's not part of the test. Maybe it's a surveillance staff member in charge of the test or something." But as soon as Xiaolin stepped through the door, she froze. The chaotic scene inside suddenly made her tense. Now dang. Inside were officers wearing bulletproof vests and carrying riot shields, their faces filled with fear. They held their weapons ready, all focused on another gate. They were all on high alert, as if a terrifying beast was behind the door. Xiaolin, seeing this situation, thought to herself, "What on earth is going on? This is a big deal. What are they on guard against?" Xiaolin was quite curious about what was inside the gate. She used her spiritual power to see through the gate and check the situation inside. What's going on in there? Xiaolin saw 2 people fighting inside, which made her suspicious. Are these 2 people fighting? Why is the opponent a person? Aren't the targets of the test all robots? Xiaolin saw a dark, demon-like figure with a wicked smile rushing towards her. She subconsciously thought, "Who is he?" While observing, Xiaolin was suddenly discovered by the demon. His eyes stared at her, carrying an immense pressure. A terrifying sense of fear ran down her spine, scaring Xiaolin. Xiaolin let out a piercing scream, then quickly slammed the iron door shut, deciding to hide in the tunnel. She then used her spiritual power to seal the door, making it impossible to open. The officers outside, seeing her run away screaming in fear, were a little confused by her actions. Xiaolin hid in a corner, her whole body trembling with fear, her eyes filled with tears. "Haha, what was that? This feeling of fear, it's so scary." At this moment, Dong Qingxue and Tan Xiaojun had arrived at the control room. The officers were overjoyed to see them, calling out, "Colonel Dong Qingxue, Major Tan Xiaojun." Tan Xiaojun asked worriedly, "What's the situation inside now? Where's the surveillance staff?" The soldiers quickly replied, "A few cameras near the door were destroyed, so it's temporarily unclear. We lost contact with the surveillance staff 3 minutes ago, and we're about to report to the higher-ups." Tan Xiaojun immediately gave an order, "All the people in Lane 12, give me all their files." Immediately, suddenly, Dong Qingxue said, "No need." The door was suddenly hit by a terrifying force, creating a small crack. All the officers gritted their teeth as if facing a great enemy, holding their weapons tightly. Lucian directly smashed the door and the surrounding wall, then calmly walked out with an expression that feared no one. Seeing him, everyone let out a sigh of relief and lowered their weapons. What? Just a student? But before they could celebrate, they all turned pale and their eyes widened in horror. In Lucian's hand, he was dragging an unconscious person, the surveillance staff member who had lost contact. Everyone immediately raised their guard again. Dong Qingxue asked, "Aren't you a student from Qingyuan City? May I ask who you are?" Lucian dropped the surveillance staff member to the ground with a thud and introduced himself. "By his city, Lucian." Tan Xiaojun smiled cheerfully and praised. "Well done, kid. You casually dismantled those expensive robot puppets, not to mention even beating up the instructor. You're really something." Lucian scratched his head and explained sheepishly. "It was a misunderstanding. I thought it was part of the test. He was very strong, so I didn't hold back." Dong Qingxue suddenly used her spiritual power to scan Lucian. Lucian stood motionless. Seeing that he had no reaction, Dong Qingxue then retracted her spiritual power. After confirming, Dong Qingxue congratulated him. "Congratulations on passing this entrance exam, student Lucian. Go rest first. A staff member will take you to the dormitory." Lucian smiled and said, "Yes," then quickly followed the guide. Seeing Lucian walk away, Dong Qingxue finally exclaimed, "This kid is really crazy." I just rewatched the video. A level 2 mechanical puppet was like a toy in his hands. Tan Xiaojun, holding the documents, said in disbelief, "The document results show a blood essence of only 1.5 and a combat power of 15,000. Is that right? It's truly unbelievable. Follow me." Dong Qingxue recalled the situation from before. "Just now, I used my spiritual power to probe him. I didn't sense anything, and he didn't react." Tan Xiaojun then asked, "So, what are you planning to do with this monster?" Dong Qingxue thought for a moment and said, "I haven't figured it out yet, but his document values are definitely not accurate. For now, let's classify him as a top-tier seedling like Xia Lin for cultivation. It seems this competition will become more and more interesting." On the way to the dormitory, Lucian thought to himself, was that a spiritual power probe just now? Instructor Dong Qingxue's spiritual power must be at least 5 times stronger than mine. I retracted all my spiritual power. I wonder if she noticed? Lost in thought, Lucian's stomach suddenly rumbled. The staff member, seeing this, understood and led him to the cafeteria. "Student Lucian, it's mealtime now. Let's go to the dining hall for a meal first. Then I'll take you to the dormitory." Lucian thanked him sheepishly. "Thank you for the trouble. By the way, is there enough food here?" He added quietly, "My appetite has been a bit big lately." The military staff member laughed and said, "Haha, don't worry. The first meal is unlimited." In front of Lucian were brought the best dishes from the kitchen. Lucian's face lit up at the sight of the delicious food. Even after eating more than 20 to 30 plates, Lucian still called for more. "This dish is delicious. Give me 5 more plates. No, 10 more plates. I need this one too." Seeing him eat, the officer standing beside him was wide-eyed in astonishment, but said nothing. While he was engrossed in eating, a beautiful girl walked over and greeted him. "Student Lucian, right? My name is Yang Yan, also a student participating in this training from Bias City. We met at the martial artist test before. Do you remember? Can I sit next to you?" On instinct, Lucian quickly hugged the pile of food on the table, his mouth stuffed, and said, "The food here is unlimited. You could go get some from them." Yang Yin thought angrily to herself. "Who wants to freeload off you? Besides, you said it's unlimited. What are you doing?" As he ate, Lucian asked, "I remember the president once said that no one from Bias City has come here for a long time. What's that all about?" Yang Yin explained, You might have misunderstood. Actually, students from Bias City come here every year. It's just that for many years, few have been able to pass the entrance exam. Even if they pass the test, they are quickly kicked out for not having enough points. After all that hard work, they just end up as a stepping stone for others. No one wants to write that on their resume." Lucian, seeming to understand the issue, asked further, "So that's how it is. Then what are these points?" Yang Yin added, "Points are the currency here. To use the training camp's resources, you need to use points. Using training machines, asking instructors for cultivation advice, getting supplements, and even the dormitory requires points. The beast meat you're eating is specially supplied for the military, and you can only get it with points. And so far in the training camp, only 3 people have points. Lucian asked again, only 3 people? How do they get their points? Yang Yan didn't hide anything and said immediately, you can only earn points through tests and assessments. They earn their points by passing the entrance exam. The level 2 gifted martial artist from Yanglan City, Tao Yong, possesses the rock-solid talent. The second person is the level 2 gifted martial artist from Dongnan City, Meng Jinhe, who possesses a speed-type talent. The last one is even rarer than a gifted martial artist, an awakened spirit power talent user, a spirit master. It said her strength and talent are the strongest in this training camp batch. The spirit master, Xiaolin. While getting food, Xiaolin saw Lucian. Seeing him eating nearby, she panicked. Her whole body began to tremble, and she cried out in a panicked voice. Seeing Lucian eating nearby, Xiaolin was so scared she immediately turned away. Her hands trembled as she controlled her spiritual power to keep the food on her tray from spilling. Xiaolin broke out in a cold sweat and quickly ran away. Lucian, while eating and talking with Yang Yan, saw Xiaolin and remembered her calling out, so it's her. Yang Yan asked, you know her? Lucian took a sip of water and casually said, we've met once. Lucian asked again, you just said only 3 people passed? Yang Yan, having heard some gossip, recounted it. I heard there's a 4th person, but the rumor is a bit exaggerated. Not only is his strength terrifying, he single-handedly destroyed almost all the level 2 mechanical puppets. Moreover, this person has an arrogant personality and even beat the examiner so badly he was hospitalized. He's a completely out-of-control maniac. Hearing this, Lucian choked on his water. He quickly added, haha, that's too much. A bit of an exaggeration. Yang Yan thought to herself, but this training camp is truly as famous as they say. Every single person is a genius. Even a monster like Lucian, who caused a sensation in Baya City, is overshadowed by many people here. Seeing Lucian choke on his water, she kindly handed him a napkin and comforted him. Don't worry, Lucian. I believe in you. With your strength and talent, if you just stay in the training camp for a while, you won't necessarily be weaker than them. Lucian accepted the napkin and stammered for a moment, not knowing what to say. Ahem, thank you. That is. Before he could finish his sentence, a group of people walked over with serious expressions and asked, Student Lucian, right? Considering you damaged 18 mechanical puppets and beat an instructor to the point of hospitalization during the entrance exam. We will now ask you a few questions as per procedure. Please cooperate and come with us. Yang Yan, seeing that the 4th person in the legend she had just been discussing was Lucian himself, was so shocked her eyes widened and her jaw dropped. The people around them were also surprised by this situation. They were so shocked they leaned back in their chairs, food falling everywhere. What? Lucian calmly stood up and said, I understand. He asked the officer sheepishly, but I'm not full yet. May I ask if I can pack it to go? The officers, not expecting this, froze for a few seconds before replying, yes. After packing his food to go, Lucian politely said goodbye to Yang Yan. I'm so sorry, I have to go now. Yang Yan, still not over the shock, stammered a few words. Okay. Seeing Lucian and the officers leave, the entire cafeteria erupted. So the rumor is true. Oh my god, there really is such a monster. Damn. The 4th person in the legend is Lucian from Baihe City. Yang Yan began to fall into deep thought, her face covered in a layer of frost from the stupid things she had said in front of Lucian. At this moment, she wished she could just bury her head in the sand. Arrogant, out of control, exaggerated, overshadowed by many, too much a maniac. What have I been saying? In a command and control room, Lucian was having a private conversation with Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qingxue. She held the damage report in her hand and said coldly, Quite impressive, Student Lucian. With just a little bit of your skill, You've managed to wipe out half a year of our budget. Lucian tensed up when he saw the cost of the damages. Dong Qingxue thought for a moment and said, "The price of each puppet is over 10,000, and none of them can be repaired." Impressive, impressive. However, after discussion, we have decided not to pursue this matter for the time being. After all, it was a normal performance during the assessment. The responsibility does not lie with you. Hearing that he wouldn't be held responsible for the damages, Lucian let out a sigh of relief. At this moment, Major Tan Xiaojun and the first 3 people to pass the test also walked in. As soon as he opened the door, Tan Xiaojun said in surprise, Oh, you're here already? That's great. All the people who passed the test are here." Lucian turned to observe the 3 of them from the rumors. He looked at Lucian with disdain, not even bothering to acknowledge him. Ao Yong looked at him with eyes full of anger and contempt. As for Xiaolin, she had been startled the moment she walked in and saw Lucian. At this moment, she wished she could just turn into a turtle and quickly run away. Dong Qingxue glanced over the 4 who had excelled in the test and praised them. "Good. First, congratulations on passing this entrance exam. Well done." Dong Qingxue held 4 cards in her hand as a reward and said, "And in this training camp, the stronger you are, the more resources you can get. Since you passed the entrance exam, I will give you corresponding rewards and points. When your accumulated points reach a certain value, they will be stored on a point card. These are your point cards." Dong Qingxue used her spiritual power to distribute a golden card to each of them. Tao Yong held the card in his hand and thought happily, "This is the golden accumulation card the teacher mentioned before. It has 100 points inside." Jinho was also overjoyed, making a victory pose as he thought to himself, "Great, I'm going to lead now." Xiaolin held the card and thought happily, 100 accumulation points, enough for the legendary high-level Spirit Master Chief Instructor to give me private lessons. Suddenly, everyone saw that Lucian was holding a white card, which made them all curious, and they all focused their attention on it. "Huh? Why is his card white?" Lucian held the card in his hand, observing it for a moment, then asked, "A white point card? I've never heard of it. Could it be a card with no points?" Eating beast meat in the cafeteria costs 5 points per meal. Using the training room for 1 hour costs 10 points. A normal instructor's guidance costs 30 points once. The chief instructor and deputy chief instructor's guidance costs 100 points once. After reading the card's usage instructions, Lucian calmly said something shocking. "Here, only eating meat is somewhat useful." The words just spoken caused Tan Xiaojun, who was sitting on a chair, to fall to the ground in shock. "Huh?" The other students were also speechless. Tan Xiaojun pointed at the card and said, "Hey, what do you mean by that? Don't take advantage and then pretend. You have 1,000 accumulation points in your hand. If our instructor hadn't stopped the higher-ups, you would have been in debt with negative points for the damages you caused." After hearing Tan Xiaojun's words, everyone was flabbergasted. "What? 1,000 points?" Tao Yong suddenly laughed coldly. "Haha, I thought. This training camp really relied on strength to speak. I didn't expect them to play the privilege card. It's truly disappointing." Gina stood by with his arms crossed and sighed. "What kind of powerful connection is this? It's really scary." Xiaolin covered her mouth in fear. "Huh? Don't you know what he did during the test? Tao Yong was aggressive and wanted to teach him a lesson." "Of course I know. Someone spread rumors and bribed the students and instructors, right? The test instructors are at least level 3 martial artists. To be able to defeat them, one must be at least a level 4 martial artist. Even with the strongest power-type talent from before, it's impossible, let alone with such good health, without any signs of blood essence depletion. If the goal of the training camp is for the strong to possess the most resources, then please prove it to me now, strong one." Seeing that they were about to fight, Tan Xiaojun was about to stand up and intervene. Hey, you guys." Dong Qingxue quickly stopped him. She wanted to see Lucian's true strength. Lucian calmly asked back, "Haha, are you sure?" Tao Yong aggressively charged forward, shouting, "Let's talk." Today, I want to see if you can break my stone skin talent. If I take a single step back, you'll have to die." Before he could finish speaking, Lucian calmly flicked his finger. Stellar Brain Flick, double power youth version. Before Tao Yong could even make a move, he was sent flying by a flick, even breaking a large hole in the thick wall of the base, and was knocked out on the spot. Seeing the situation unfold so quickly, everyone watching screamed in shock. "What?" Lucian, feeling he had gone a bit too far, said sheepishly, "He made me hit him. Don't make me pay for the damages." After witnessing Tao Yong being flicked through a wall by Lucian, Xiaolin and Jinhe were completely shocked, as if struck by lightning. They stammered for a long time, without being able to form a complete sentence. Lucian had become a pitiful man. Lucian didn't want any more trouble at this point. He just wanted to quickly get back to his room to train. Well then, Tan Xiaojun turned away and whistled, as if he had already predicted this outcome. Lucian calmly continued, "Can I go now?" Then he quickly left. "Let's go." Seeing that Lucian was about to leave, Dong Qingxue called out to him. "Student Lucian, what are your plans for your cultivation next? If you use your accumulation points, you can get my private guidance." Lucian gently pushed the door open and walked out. "Thank you, Chief Commander, but there's no need. I have more important things to do." Tan Xiaojun was quite curious and asked, "Huh? You have something more important than the chief instructor's guidance?" Jinhe and Xiaolin also listened intently, wondering what could be so important. Lucian confirmed, "That's right. I'm going back to sleep." Hearing this rather odd reason, Jinhe and Xiaolin were truly dumbfounded. "What?" Tan Xiaojun also burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha, this kid." Dong Qingxue's face was full of frustration. She was speechless. After everyone had left, Dong Qingxue checked the surveillance cameras and saw that Lucian had indeed returned to his dormitory to sleep. Tan Xiaojun found it to be an unbelievable joke. This kid really went back to sleep, haha. Dong Qingxue also didn't understand what he was thinking. What is he doing? There are no resources in the dormitory. Tan Xiaojun, with a playful attitude, said, "This is the first time I've seen such an interesting genius. Let him do whatever he wants." Dong Qingxue then assessed in a deep voice, "You don't understand. He is an excellent whetstone that can stimulate the rapid growth of others." Tan Xiaojun said seriously, "A whetstone? I'm afraid this whetstone is stronger than all the knives here, right?" Dong Qingxue seemed to recall a memory. "Do you still remember our batch? That person, Hang Bang." Hearing that name, Tan Xiaojun stood up and clutched his chest. "Of course. Just mentioning him makes my chest hurt. In that training camp, he put pressure on all the geniuses, trampling everyone under his feet. He was the undisputed king." Dong Qingxue said thoughtfully, "That's right. Power-type gifted individuals used to have a huge advantage, easily able to dish out tens of thousands in combat power, even fighting enemies of a higher level. However, skill, speed, observation, judgment, experience, tactics, strategy, strength is not just about power in the process of continuous growth and accumulation. A power-type gifted martial artist who only relies on the strength given by their talent will ultimately only be glorious for a moment. This is probably Lucian's final path." At that moment, Lucian was in a dreamscape, fighting with all his might against a blonde-haired, muscular zombie. Both sides were evenly matched, exchanging hundreds of blows without either gaining an advantage. The zombie suddenly threw a powerful punch, which was caught by Lucian. He quickly pulled out a nearby iron bar and stabbed it through the zombie's thigh and foot, pinning it to the ground. But he seized the opportunity to unleash his ultimate technique, a powerful stellar force punch to the zombie's face. This one punch directly sent the zombie to its final rest. After it died, Lucian also received this zombie's skills and memories. Lucian let out a sigh of relief after a long struggle with this zombie. Phew, before it died, it was a quasi-grandmaster at level 6, equivalent to the level of the Martial Arts Association president Xiao Yuha. No wonder it was so strong. That last move, if I hadn't used all my spiritual power to block it, I'm afraid. Lucian began to absorb the martial arts techniques, skills, and combat experience. Compared to leveling up his blood essence, these were the real benefits of his dream world. Movement techniques, fist techniques, palm techniques, foot techniques, spear techniques, sword techniques. A person's energy is limited. No matter what, one person cannot do everything. But I stand on the shoulders of countless others, all-encompassing, with no weaknesses. This is my martial path, the perfect martial path. After comprehending the skills of the level 6 zombie, Lucian sat down to rest. And their spiritual power. If it weren't for my spiritual power just now, I'm afraid I wouldn't have even been able to block the zombie's attack. It's a pity I'm still using the most basic spiritual power. For now, I can only use it against zombies like this. If there really is a level 6 expert, I can't say for sure. I need to further cultivate my spiritual power. After speaking, Lucian quickly delved deep into his spiritual power, focusing his inner self, not letting his mind wander. Entering a meditative state, tempering his spirit. After the tempering was complete, Lucian used the tempered light to touch the top of his spiritual power's head. The stone layer surrounding his spiritual power gradually cracked, emitting an incredibly magical light. Lucian was then pulled out by a force, his whole body in agony, as if being torn apart. Finally, his spiritual power was completely released. The power that shot out could shatter all the glass windows of the building. After completely releasing his energy, Lucian was like a dried-out corpse. He stood there dazed, but his face couldn't hide his joy. I've broken through again. After recovering, Lucian eagerly opened the AI to see if his future self had made any more breakthroughs. Next, it's been a while since I've looked at my life history. I wonder what it will be this time. Lucian commanded the AI, show me my personal file. The AI quickly gathered the data. Yes, I am retrieving the information for you. A moment later, Lucian's biography appeared in full. Name, Lucian, gender, male, lifespan, June 297 martial Dao, April 452 martial Dao strength. Level 7 martial artist, usable authority, level 3. Experience, at 18, became a level 2 martial artist, causing a sensation in Bias City. Subsequently, under the recommendation of the Bias City Martial Arts Association, participated in the Dongning Province Genius Training Camp. Won first place in the training. In the same year was top 1 in the entire school, top 1 in the entire province, and ranked 53rd nationwide in the college entrance exam. Admitted to Dongning Martial University. 3 years later, graduated from Dongning Martial University and served in the military. 5 years later, was discharged with the rank of Major General. Founded the Bias City Martial Arts Dojo. At 65, promoted to level 7 martial artist. July 452 martial Dao. Old wounds relapsed. Died at the age of 156. Marital status. Married, 2 sons, 1 daughter. Highest rank. Major General. Historical evaluation. 3 stars. Lucian was overjoyed to see that his information had been upgraded again. A level 7 Grandmaster. I can step into the level 7 Grandmaster realm in my lifetime. If this were ancient times, I could be considered a lord of region. Even now, I'm a person of great influence. Lucian thought to himself, that's right, if I become a Grandmaster, then my evaluation and authority should have been upgraded, right? Lucian commanded the AI search for the stellar body tempering art, the natural breathing method, and the crystal visualization method. The AI quickly replied, yes. A moment later, countless techniques appeared around Lucian. Stellar body tempering art, advanced part. Technique introduction, created by the level 11 Martial Alliance expert Wang He, included in the kindling plan. Natural breathing method, advanced part. Technique introduction, created by the level 11 Martial Alliance expert Yang Ijo, included in the kindling plan. Crystal visualization method, advanced part. Technique introduction, created by the level 11 Martial Alliance expert Duan Yifeng, included in the kindling plan. Lucian exclaimed, as expected, level 3 authority. I can search for higher level techniques. Suddenly, a rather strange book caught Lucian's eye, making him a little curious. What's this? Lucian quickly opened the book, and what was inside left him utterly astonished. Divine Illumination King Sutra. Technique Introduction, created by the Level 11 Martial Alliance expert Duan Yifeng, included in the kindling plan. After a glance, Lucian had to exclaim in admiration, "This is a complete technique." Lucian opened the technique book and was endlessly amazed. This is the Divine Illumination King Sutra. Soaring through the heavens, a free and unrestrained mind. Unbelievable. No wonder this technique wasn't in the combat skills report. That's all the questions. This is a specialized technique designed for spirit masters. It not only includes combat essentials and spiritual power usage skills, but also, most importantly, this technique is completely different from other spiritual power techniques. The core content of the Divine Illumination King Sutra is to use the spiritual power from within a martial artist's body to construct another body, which can be said to be a second self. And the level of detail of this body can reach the muscle fibers, cells, and even the genetic level. And all of this is for one purpose: to enhance oneself in all aspects without any weaknesses. The first level of the Divine Illumination King Sutra is to use the organs of spiritual power to strengthen the body, thereby achieving the effect of increasing blood essence. This happens to be my biggest weakness. My combat power can't be increased, but my basic blood essence value really can't be changed. Blood essence has always been holding me back. If I can break through this point, I can increase all my attribute abilities. Using spiritual power to influence a martial artist's blood essence. It's truly unbelievable. I really underestimated the crystallization of wisdom from 10,000 years of the martial Tao. A technique of this level, let alone creating it now, I couldn't even have imagined it. Duan Yifeng. I will remember this name. A character of such outstanding talent. It's hard for a civilization to produce a second one. I'm afraid, even among level 11 experts, he is considered an absolute top-tier existence. And yet, even a character like that couldn't stop the destruction of the human civilization. There is still much I need to do, and the road ahead is still very long. Every minute, every second, I must do my best to become stronger. A month later, in the training room, Xiao Lin was concentrating on honing her spiritual power. She was currently standing in a testing room. The room was equipped with automatic ball launching systems everywhere. Xiao Lin's task was to use her spiritual power to control a weapon to destroy the incoming balls. Xiao Lin closed her eyes, sensed the direction of the balls, and then controlled a spiritual all to simultaneously rush forward and destroy them. The balls that were shot out were all shattered in an instant. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qingxue, observing from outside, saw Xiao Lin's excellent performance, opened the door, and walked in to praise her. Not bad. You're improving very quickly. You've already mastered manipulating 3 spiritual alls. When you master manipulating 6, it means you've entered the first level of a spirit master. Xiao Lin, upon being praised, bowed and thanked Dong Qingxue for her guidance. Thank you, Chief Instructor. It's all thanks to your instruction. Dong Qingxue politely replied. It's also related to your talent and effort. Dong Qingxue then raised an eyebrow and said, but I've noticed something. There seems to be a huge flaw in your spiritual will. Someone has left a psychological scar on you, haven't they? Xiaolin immediately remembered Lucian's gaze when they first met, which still scared her to this day. Xiaolin bit her finger, cold sweat breaking out as she trembled, and said, Yes, Chief Instructor. May I ask if there's any way to solve this problem? Dong Qingxue said coldly, It's very simple. Find the person who left the psychological scar on you. Defeat him or kill him, and naturally, the psychological scar will be gone. Hearing that she had to defeat Lucian, Xiao Lin panicked. She cried out in fear, Huh? This? Seeing Xiao Lin's expression, Dong Qingxue frowned, wishing she could just forge iron into steel. What's wrong? You're currently in a period of rapid strength growth. This small matter shouldn't be a problem for you. Xiaolin thought for a moment. I heard that Scary Guy is still in a state of depression during this period. If his strength remains stagnant, maybe I can really do it. Xiaolin seemed to have made a great resolution, her eyes becoming more determined, resolved to defeat Lucian. After finishing the session with Xiaolin, Tan Xiaojun, who was eavesdropping outside, asked, "Is it over? How did it go?" Dong Qingxue said with some frustration, "Her talent is decent, but her personality is a bit weak." Tan Xiaojun laughed and said, "Do you think everyone is like you? Besides, how can her personality be better than the one I'm teaching?" Dong Qingxue said, "Meng Jinhe? I've taught him before. Anyway, there's still a month or two. We can get through it. Right, is he still the same?" Tan Xiaojun recounted with a sigh, "Still the same. Every day when I deliver his food, I see him sleeping in his bed. I guess he's a lost cause." Tan Xiaojun then turned to laugh at Dong Qingxue. "Remember what you said when you were training the students? As long as you like, you can sleep in the dormitory every day and no one will bother you." "Ha ha." Dong Qingxue covered her face and sighed. "I shouldn't have said that in the first place." Tan Xiaojun, with his persistent personality, wanted to tease a few more times. "So, do you still want to use him as a whetstone?" Dong Qingxue was so angry she was fuming. "Whetstone my ass. He's lost face and is still being arrogant." Dong Qingxue angrily walked away. "Forget about him. Just teach your Meng Jinhe well. If not, during the test, Xiaolin will beat him badly." Tan Xiaojun stuck out his tongue and teased, "Who's afraid of who?" In the gymnasium, Yang Yin was cleaning up with a few friends. She tiredly swept the floor with a broom, sighing in frustration. Just then, a friend ran over and cheerfully called out, "Yang Yin, not done yet? Let me help you." Yang Yin was happy to have someone help and thanked her. Thanks." The other friend replied, "No problem. You helped me like this last time." As they swept, they sighed. "Sigh, I really envy them. Those who can get 100 points, it's enough to last them for these 2 months." Yang Yin also sympathized. "Poor people like us have to suffer. We have to go hungry for 1 or 2 meals just to barely have enough points. Sigh, we can't compare." Suddenly, the other friend asked, "Yang Yin, what has Lucian from your city been up to lately? Aren't you any on good terms?" The mention of Lucian made Yang Yin quite curious. She said sadly, "Him? I don't know." The other friend continued to gossip. "I guess you don't know either. That Lucian is really something. He was so strong when he first came in, suppressing everyone in the camp. And what's the result? The next day, he was finished. Lucian has been holed up in his room and hasn't come out. His strength has probably been surpassed by others by now. Yang Yin, do you think he's scared?" He knew early on that the advantage of a power-type talent diminishes over time, so he decided to just be a coward and build up a sense of mystery. Thinking of Lucian's abilities, Yang Yin always had complete faith in him. She thought to herself, "No, Lucian is not that kind of person." Yang Yin quickly snatched the broom from her friend's hand, turned away, and said, "You take a break. I can handle the rest of the work." Seeing Yang Yin trying to do all the work, her friend was quite surprised and didn't understand. Just then, outside, a group of people were shouting at each other to go watch something. "Quick, let's go see. Tao Yong is about to try 4 times the gravity." "Really? Hey." The other friend heard this shocking news and shouted, "Did you hear that? 4 times the gravity. Is it real or fake? That's insane." Yang Yin also said in disbelief, "Last time, I only went into the 1,000,000 times gravity room for less than 20 minutes and almost died. This is 4 times that." The other friend, excited to watch, pulled Yang Yin's hand and said, "Let's go over there and see." Yang Yin was a bit surprised to be pulled along. As she walked, Yang Yin thought to herself, "Lucian, what are you doing right now?" Meanwhile, Lucian had just woken up from a long dream, his strength having increased significantly. He gently opened the dormitory door and stepped out, his face a few degrees colder than before.